Welcome back to another Just Two Guys Talking podcast with my co-host John.
Hey, everybody. Thank
Hello,
you, George.
John. Hello. And we've got Igor with us today. And the very first thing I'm going to ask you to do is tell me how to pronounce Velo Orange because you made a point of that in your email to us.
Yeah, it is. Hi, I'm Igor. And
Hello,
yeah, it's
Igor.
pronounced Velo Orange.
Velo Orange. All right.
That's right.
All
Is
right.
is there did I miss something with that?
Yeah, he
There
said
was
it.
there was a push that some people were saying Velo Orange.
Orange.
Yeah, but no,
Well,
I'm not that type of person.
you're not that. You're not the.
No. My pinky is in.
hmm
Well, because on Russ's podcast, when he did a
Hmm.
tour with you, he said that.
Hello everybody, it's Russ from Path Less Pedaled, and today we are going to get a tour of Velo Orange.
Yeah.
Right?
And
Yeah.
it's stuck. It's stuck for a
Oh,
while.
it did.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
I still get it sometimes.
Oh,
I'm not gonna say anything, in person to someone.
right.
But
Right. Well, welcome, Igor. It's been and this came together pretty quick. So
Mhm.
please thank your staff as well because I didn't feel like I was there was a gatekeeper. It was like, hey, I'd like to do a podcast, and it just within a day or two, boom, you were
Oh
you were,
yeah.
you were
Yeah.
already on the email thread. So that's really cool.
Yeah, we have a shared inbox so everybody can see everything,
Oh,
and
that
so it's if I'm not there, text message away. So
yeah.
it's all pretty streamlined, pretty simple.
Well,
That's
it
pretty
just
cool.
shows the culture as well, you know.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's good on you. What we typically do on this show is we do talk about recalls first. Then we're going to talk about Calvin Jones of Park Tool retiring, and we'll talk a
Mhm.
little bit about Brembo brakes, I guess going to the specialized mountain bike side of things. Kind of cool stuff. Igor, you said you were a car guy.
Yes.
Yeah, you're in good company.
All
Yeah.
right. I like
You,
to
you
You're
got
hear
a
it.
dream car, Igor?
Oh, I mean F40 for
Ooh.
sure. I mean, I had
Wow.
I had that poster on
well,
my wall.
like what, $3 million these days?
Yeah. You said dream car,
You did
hmm
say
you know?
dream car.
hmm
Yeah. How about something more attainable? Something you see
Oh.
drive by and you're like, God, I'll probably I want one of those.
I would love, so I love boats of
Oh,
vehicles.
Mm.
So
oh,
Grand
like
National, I have a thing for Pontiac, so I'd probably say G8 with a six
hmm
speed big V8
Yeah.
supercharger.
but that's not a boat. You're
That's
talking
pretty
about the
Yeah, the
G.
G8's not a big
it's
car.
not a it's not huge.
No, it's a massive engine. I mean, it's like
hmm
it's like the famous LS swap,
Oh
hmm
right?
yeah. Yep. Yeah, those
Yeah,
those are those are definitely up there for me.
nice. American muscle, it sounds like.
hmm
Even though I have Volkswagens as well. I mean, I love my Volkswagens. So, which is kind of the opposite, right?
Well, there's dependable, and then there's, the thing we pine over, which isn't all that practical. It isn't
Yeah. Well,
dependable. It's
Volkswagen's got the W12 engine,
the
right?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I guess you're talking about that Volkswagen. I'm talking about
Yeah.
50 plus year old
Oh,
Volkswagen.
okay.
yeah. No. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about recalls. The first recall I want to talk about is, and I didn't know this was a thing, but apparently it is. Pedego, Pedego, is recalling 400 fat tire trikes. Is this something any of you are interested in?
I didn't even know they made these kind of things.
Fat
Yeah,
tire trike.
trike.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I
fat
see
tire.
them. I see all sorts of e vehicles, e transportation on my local trail.
Yeah,
But I haven't seen the trike, not the fat
yeah,
tire trike at least. I've seen, just the regular bikes. I've seen
yeah.
the basically I don't know if there's the Saurons or the, basically throttle motorbikes. Um and like all sorts of regular, e road bikes and
Mhm.
e gravel bikes and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
but I didn't know they had e fat trikes. That's a new one for me.
400 of these are getting recalled because the aluminum frame can develop a hairline fracture near a weld, causing the tubes to separate and posing fall and laceration hazards. 16 reports of these already, with one rider's leg being lacerated. It's something
Whoa.
about laceration I just don't want.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not interested in that. So let's talk about their made in China trikes where, let's see, they were sold in Pedigo stores nationwide and online. March 2024 to March of 2025. These are not cheap bikes.
No, they're not cheap.
No.
$3,500 to $4,000 price range.
Mm-hmm.
So aluminum frames. Now, Igor, most of your bikes are steel, although one article I had read that there was a Pass Hunter, possibly alloy.
Yeah, we have all of our steel. We have, except for one, we have a new frame that we released last year. It's called Chessie, which is an aluminum
Oh, I saw that one. Yeah.
frame, steel fork. But I mean, obviously, that's not going to have the same sort of forces that an e-trike is
Mm-hmm.
going to experience. And surely, I think that a lot of people that are probably riding them are not going to be having the same care as, somebody riding one of our bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's just a different market and completely
Mm-hmm.
different testing and application and stuff like that.
Yeah, you mentioned testing on Russ's podcast, so maybe we can talk a little bit about that too. All right, next recall. P&W Components. Now, I've seen some really cool stuff from them coming lately. I'm on their email list, and of course, I get them from QBP. But we've got 1,200 Loam Gen 2 pedals being recalled. And it's because the aluminum, or I don't know what the material is of the axle. I'm guessing aluminum. I mean, I don't know why you would do that, but because the axle can crack and cause the body to detach from the crank. Aren't we making steel axles? What are we doing here?
We should
I
be.
think I think the aluminum pedals, it's probably an aluminum platform
Mm-hmm.
and steel
Axle.
axle. That's light. I mean, I think that that's unlikely that it's aluminum. I mean,
Okay.
it could be something simple.
But it says
Hopefully,
that the axle can crack, so I'm a little bit thrown off by that.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's an issue with the forging or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's good
without
to
seeing
have
it, it's
you.
hard to tell.
Yeah, it's good to have you on here because you see it from a manufacturer standpoint.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I really like having your input on this stuff. Okay, so there are 4 reports of these axles cracking and detaching, but no injuries have occurred. The pedal is a platform style non-clip. Now, this is funny because they call it a non-clip pedal. And of course, we know that
Yeah.
clipless pedals.
Clipless.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, is you're actually engaged into the pedal, but
Mm-hmm.
that's okay. Can be identified as tectonic logo, laser etched, blah, blah, blah. Okay, they were sold in bike shops in Jensen and Backcountry and REI from June 2025 through November 2025.
So this is I would expect that there's a lot of these if they were in REI,
Mhm.
because that's kind of a big retailer.
Yeah, this was just published today, so this is a very,
Mm-hmm.
very recent recall announcement. So they will replace them. So you'll get free replacement axles.
It's kind of a bummer because I mean I think they look really cool. I know
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people that have used them and they really like them.
Oh, okay. So you do know
So
people out
mhm.
there using
Yeah,
them out in the field.
until seeing this, I never would have considered any sort of issue, but
Yeah, because I mean, how long in life have we been making pedals, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
That's not usually you hear of a
Mm-hmm.
failure. And then the last one I thought was an interesting one because Igor is expecting a third child, aren't you, sir?
That's right. Any day now.
Congratulations.
So this is a child carrier that goes on the back of a bike. And Pacific Cycle, which I guess is, I mean, are they owned by Schwinn? I didn't really get it, but it's Pacific Cycle recalls some Schwinn Ovation bike child carriers. So 650 of these are being recalled because the buckles can come loose. No injuries. They are aware of one incident, but one is too many, in my opinion, when you're dealing with children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
These were sold on Amazon, schwinnbikes.com from 2025, May of 2025 through September of 2025. So $190 to $230 for these child seats. I'll tell you a funny story that really is unrelated to this, but it has to do with my son. I think they're called Atoms or something. Those bikes that you attach to the seat post and somewhere else, and then the kid's pedaling in the back. You know,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
think
like
it's
a
a
little
tag along.
trailer of a
yeah, it's
bike, kind of.
got an arm like
Mhm.
this.
Yeah.
My son and I were riding it. I don't remember how old he was. My seat post broke.
Oh, goodness.
Whoa.
And you know, the thing is curved like this, so it connects to the seat post, and it just went whoop, boom, and dug right into the
Wow.
ground. And here he is. Yeah,
I got to ask you, George, carbon seat post?
yeah, because it was, yeah, my mistake on that one.
But
This
it's so
was
much lighter.
Yeah.
no, this was during the time frame that I was a super weight weenie. So none of my bikes had aluminum seat posts.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that was lesson learned there. But then it got even worse after that because I put a aluminum seat post in one of my steel frames and it seized in there.
Oh, goodness.
And I couldn't get it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got any tricks for that, Igor?
I've gotten stuck seat posts out when I was working at a shop. One of the ways you can do it, the first thing you do is you take the saddle off, or if you're willing to sacrifice the saddle, you stick that in the bench vise and you use the frame as leverage to try to get it out. And then if that doesn't work, you cut the seat post and try to cut it really flush to the seat tube, and you can get a saw, like a really thin saw, and try
Oh,
to just
wow.
cut it. If it's not too deep, you
Mhm.
can cut it just to make like a slice, and then you just destroy it until it comes out.
You just start prying and pulling and
Yeah, that's all you can do. And then if it's really bad, or you can use a chisel and you can chisel it if it's deeper. And then I've never had to go that far before, but I've seen other people use, flame to basically melt
Ooh.
it,
Mhm.
or use like caustic soda. Basically it'll melt the aluminum, but it'll keep the steel in place. Obviously you can't do that with an aluminum frame, but
What about hammering it like downwards to just
that's
kind of
another
break
option.
it? I mean,
Yep.
yeah, maybe.
Yep. The only thing is that the aluminum is softer than the hammer. So
Ah,
you
okay.
kind of have to,
You're just gonna
that's
mushroom
definitely
that seat
possible.
post, maybe.
It's definitely possible, but luckily I've never had something that stuck before.
Mm-hmm.
Co-motion cycles. Are you folks familiar with the company?
No.
Yep.
Yeah, co-motion. I'm more familiar with them because I was a tandem captain and raced a tandem for years and years, and they wanted me to come on board, but I had a Pinarello tandem, so I was like, I don't know that I want a co-motion
I had
tandem.
no idea that Pinarello, like a steel one, or like what
Pinarello?
yeah, I had no idea Pinarello made a tandem. That's awesome.
Pinarello made a tandem 2007,
Okay.
carried it over to 2008, and then it was gone.
Yeah.
It was a Scandium tandem, and right now it has a cracked bottom bracket.
Oh,
The captain's,
That's a bummer.
yeah, the captain's side. So, but anyway, Co-Motion on their Instagram, they show a lot of these seat post removals. I guess people send their frames all the way to them, and they
Yep.
have a machine that they do this with. So
Yeah, it's like
wow.
it looks like a torture device.
Yeah,
that, like,
it's
it's like it has like beams, and you put the frame in, and then it basically you like drill through it, and you put a rod in it or something, and then
Mhm.
it
yeah,
pulls it.
yeah, yeah. It's
Wow.
pretty
It's pretty
intense.
wild.
It's like watching one of those augers, those YouTube videos where they just keep
Yep.
throwing stuff in there and you're
Can you imagine trying
so
to build the company for that? Say, hey, let's build this machine that yanks out seat posts. Can I
Yep.
get a business loan for that?
yeah, honestly, I mean, where's the ROI on that
Hmm.
really, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're still around.
Yeah, there's that. There's that. Let's talk about Calvin Jones.
Oh.
28 years at Park Tool
Hmm.
and the mustache. I mean, this guy has been around so long. For many folks, that's all they've ever known.
Hmm.
Hmm.
He's retiring. He still looks young enough to enjoy. He's talking about how he wants to figure out how to how to operate his dropper seat posts on this bike. Is the comment he made on the interview that they had. I'd like to talk about that. How many of you or maybe how often have you referred to a Park Tool video write up or something that Calvin Jones obviously had some play in it, some role in it?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
me.
So,
Oh, go
oh,
ahead.
go
Go
ahead. Go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So, I mean, we don't do like a ton of super cutting edge stuff.
Yep.
So it's always a nice resource if there's something new that's like, I don't really know how that works. And you can see, okay, is this compatible? How does this work? What are the sort of constraints on it? What are torque value? What torque values are this stuff, or is this stuff for? What's the threading? So it's really nice. I've met Calvin a couple times at trade
Oh,
shows.
okay. All right.
I
Good.
knew who he was. He didn't know who I was.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I'm just
Well,
some
that's the
guy.
way it is all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, he's gonna know now.
but I mean, obviously for him, very well deserved, retirement.
Recognition. Yeah. Yeah.
But for us, it's a really good resource because since we have a lot of people are buying individual parts from us, and they're like, hey, if we don't have a write up on how to install it or details, necessarily that fits their application, instead of like trying to type an email that say, okay, here's how you install the bottom bracket, we can send them a link to something that Calvin and his team have done.
His team is, yeah.
Or if there's certain torque values that somebody's looking for, it's nice to have those tables. And the videos are great.
Yep.
Those are
Yep.
great resources nowadays because it's for a lot of people, it's a lot easier just to watch a video and get what they need out of it rather than reading a whole manual.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
John, you got any interesting stories about Calvin or Park
Yeah.
Tool? Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Go.
about every time I take off pedals, I
Uh-huh.
go, look, which way do I turn this thing?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and you're not gonna believe this, but maybe you will. I had someone with a set of XTR pedals for the viewing public. That's top of the line mountain bike side of Shimano stuff. They put the pedals into the crank arms in the wrong direction.
Can you do that? I mean,
do you
aren't
do
they
Yet, oh,
that?
threaded?
he did it. He did it.
that's
It was,
determination right there.
oh
Wow.
my God. Because when you're going and it's really, yeah, he did it. And
Okay.
I was like,
Yeah, it's never coming out.
well, so I was able to fix the threads on the crank arms, and then yeah, we put the pedals in the correct place.
Did
But
you
Oh
do a
man.
helicoil or did you just rethread it?
no, yeah, I just chased the threads and
Nice.
it was good. Yeah, luckily. Now, for the viewing audience, because John brought it up, you put pedals on forward, either side. You take pedals off to the back. So the wrench goes towards the rear wheel if you're taking a pedal off, regardless of left or right. Okay. So I don't know how else to explain it, but that's the easiest way I've told people is the pedals go on as you're going forward on the bike, and then the wrench goes to the back of the bike when you're taking them off.
Mhm.
Yeah. I
Left
think for
or
me,
right.
it's always like the pedal's in there just a little bit stiff. So as I'm pulling on it, you get that little bit of doubt.
Right. You're like, am I
And then you have to
tightening
bring up
this?
Calvin's video.
Yeah. Yeah. The Brembo brakes are going to be on Specialized mountain bikes, and I guess someone said, oh, they were in bikes before. Does anyone know anything about this?
I have never heard of Brembos being on
No, I've
bikes.
never heard that either. I mean, like
Yeah.
motorcycles, yeah.
Yeah. And their signature colors, that red. And that's I'll throw some images up in post, but yeah, that they've got that bright red brake on some of these Specialized models. So yeah, cool. But just because we like car stuff, not so much because
Yeah,
we
but
like
are we going to get the carbon ceramic discs that go with them?
I mean, there could be. I mean, honestly, the brakes are just kind of like smaller versions of what's in cars,
Yeah.
you
Yeah, I'm looking
know?
for some
So
F1 technology here.
Well, I'm just wondering, I mean, let's just throw this out there. Do they need to operate at a certain temperature? I mean, is there like, or
Yeah, the
is they,
carbon ceramics do need to heat up.
okay, so yeah,
Mm.
so by the time you get to the bottom of the hill, they're finally going to work. Is that what happens?
Well, I mean, this is the bike industry, so we have a problem, so we're going to invent something to solve our problem. So we'll just
Yes.
get like some extra friction on the pads.
Something,
Well,
something,
I've
something that
seen those.
Igor said in one of his blog posts, the overcomplication of,
Yeah, we invented
Yes.
a problem and let's invent a solution.
Well, no, there is a solution. Hang on, there is a solution because
Mhm.
there's a company that makes a machine for shops to bed brake pads.
I saw that. Yeah.
So you just have, instead of like having, before somebody does a run or a race, they'll be on a trainer,
Mhm.
right? Just kind of warming up. You got to warm up your brakes too by putting it on this brake pad treadmill.
Oh, we'll have instead of tire warmers, brake disc
Oh,
warmers. There you
yeah,
go.
that's it. You
There you
figured it
go.
out.
hmm Millions of dollars slipping through our fingers.
You're just letting this stuff go for
Yeah.
free.
This is more like Russ's cave of bad ideas. This is what this sounds like, really.
Mhm.
Well, let's get on to the main topic of the day. Igor, you have been with Velo Orange how long? And oh, by the way, happy 20-year anniversary. So let's get on to that. Talk to me about Velo Orange and talk to me about you.
Sure. Yeah. So, like you said, this is Velo Orange's 20th year in business. We started in 2006,
Yep.
and so yeah, it's been one heck of a ride.
Pun intended.
Yeah. I wish I was that clever.
Oh, well, you were. You just didn't know it.
But yeah, I mean, we started by importing new old stock components from France, Japan, England, and when those sort of sources were drying up, then we kind of started redesigning those ideas and expanding on them and modernizing the standards, especially testing standards, and we just kind of spiraled out from there. And so we still a lot of those products that we originally carried, we actually still do, but the product breadth has gone kind of crazy. So it was starting out from bell mounts and handlebar to frames and modern bars and hubs and rims and all sorts of custom stuff. So yeah.
Most cottage industries begin from is that person needs that item, they want that item, or they think they can make that item better. So I'm guessing that this was basically what drove you to work in this industry, or in as I don't know what you call it, because you're not just accessories, you do frames, you do everything. So I mean,
We
you're more
do,
than just
yeah.
frames.
Frames, components, accessories. That's
Right,
always
right. So is that what drove you to seek employment? Because you worked in bike shops like everyone,
I
it
did.
seems, right?
Yeah.
But then you found that you wanted to design stuff? I mean, what got you
Yeah.
over to Velo Orange?
So I was working in a shop in College Park called uh, unbelievably College Park Bikes. And
What's in the name, right?
and so we did a lot of custom bikes. We did a lot of vintage stuff. We did a lot of bikes for tourists and randonneurs.
Yeah.
So that kind of that was really the sort of foundation of my knowledge and my interest. I mean, I had been riding bikes for years and years and years beforehand, just more of in a utility sort of basis.
Hmm.
But it wasn't until then and that I really kind of fell into the niche that I was interested in. And then I started working for Velo Orange in 2011. And then in early 2017, my wife and I, Adrian, who was also working there, we bought the company from the original founders, and we've really expanded upon the business, expanded on the product line, entered new markets all over the world. So it's been a ride for sure.
Yeah. Let's go back from '06 to 11. What was
Mhm.
Velo Orange doing then?
We were mostly doing still importing a lot of new old stock stuff, um, doing much more classic French components. So a lot of, porteur bars, fenders were just kind of starting up, little odds and ends, bottle cages were beginning as well. It was a lot of kind of recreating
Yeah.
of those old products. And then we started getting more and more into kind of taking a more modern approach with a sort of classic flair.
Yeah.
So that was I think that spark was, and that's what I like personally. I love seeing something that's older looking but has all the modern, accoutrements. I think that's what people really like, you
Yeah, almost
know.
like the resto mod
Exactly.
car kind of.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Restomod is exactly it. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So you start working there at 2011. How soon before you started having design influence, or did it just not happen until later on?
It was very early on. I mean, I had plenty of experience. We had been ordering Velo Orange stuff for the bikes that I,
Yeah.
that I was working on. So it was a natural progression. Adrian and I have been longtime tourists, so there's a lot of experience. So if it's like, here's what do you think about this design, or what do you think about this prototype? And that's how it is now. Like not much has changed from there because everybody here rides bikes in some capacity. Some
Yes.
people ride, more racing,
Yeah.
road racing bikes, either touring or randonneuring or just sort of commuting. Everybody has their own inputs.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I can go up to anybody here and be like, "Hey, what do you think about, what do you think about this fork? Or what do you think about this rack?" And people have their input.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a very passionate group of people here.
Like, how would you characterize your product offerings over the last 5 years, or let's say in 5 year increments, right? So like the last 10 years, like has it doubled? Because it seems to me like you've got a lot of
Hmm.
newer stuff like all the time, it
Yeah,
It's
it does
seems.
it
seem like it's
is
growing.
it is like a what is it, like a hydra? You're like you
You cut
yeah,
off
it's
one
just like
head.
heads keep coming out of nowhere. And it it happens in some ways. We have to not be careful, but we have to be very conscientious about the types of products that we bring in, because we want to make sure that, especially in where we are right now, we there are definitely products that we really really want, that we really like, that we might just not sell very many of them, but it's cool. It's a lot of custom tooling. It's a lot of really cool stuff that
Yeah.
goes into it.
Yeah.
Um, but we have to make sure that we're offering things that have legs, that have longevity,
Hmm.
that we spend thousands and thousands of dollars hours and hours and hours of research and development and, production time and stuff like that. And even comes down to shelf space, you know. um, we want to make sure that that's a product that we're going to have in our lineup for a long time. And,
Yeah.
we'll make iterations to it. Like, there's no doubt about that as the product matures, that we'll have other iterations to it. But we want to make sure that the products that we bring in are things that are going to be relevant to our business and what we want to bring to the industry for many years.
Yeah. Is there
Well,
any product that surprised you? Like when you put it out there, it's like, wow, I didn't think this thing would take off.
I would probably say clunker bars, to be
Clunker
honest with you.
bars.
They are one of our best-selling products, and especially nowadays in an era like George, you were saying before, being a weight weenie, like we brought them in, and because there's a lot of custom tooling that goes into it.
Mhm.
You look at the drawing and there's all sorts. They're triple butted with custom butting profile. You cut it apart and you're
Wow.
like, whoa, this is serious.
Yeah. So this is
And
a serious thing.
it's a steel handlebar, and it's quite heavy, but people love it. People eat it up. They put it on their commuters. They put it on, especially with 90s and 80s mountain bikes being so popular for conversions. People put them on there. They'll put them. I've seen people put them on their road bikes. Just brings up the handlebars and makes it much more comfortable. It actually makes the bike fun to ride and comfortable to ride, and people love it. It's like one of our heaviest individual products, and it's a very, very good seller.
So in this expansion of products,
Mhm.
would you say, like, do you have some type of strategy to where you're like, okay, and I'm just going to throw a number. Yeah, we're getting close to 100 SKUs. Let's start killing some of these off, and let's just keep this focus on here. In other words, as new products come on, do you discontinue other products? What's been that
I
kind of?
try to. I
Yeah.
try to, but you wouldn't believe the number of emails that I get of like, "Hey, this product that you made like 15 years ago, I really want that one back."
Yeah.
Or like, we'll have a for example, handlebar that'll be on sale because it's just not like a thing that people want anymore. And like those the trekking bars that we had, like the European super upright, like they call
Yeah.
them different things. Some people call them pretzel bars.
Hmm. Hmm.
Anyway, those were really popular for a while, and then they're just not popular anymore. And we had them on sale for a long time because we just had a bunch of them. And as soon as they went out of stock, somebody was like, "Hey, you guys getting these back in?" I'm like, "You had a year
And
to
they were
get
on
these."
sale.
Like, so I mean, and the thing is, with having with a company like ours being around for so long, there are products that we sometimes bring back. We had black porteur bars. We kind of discontinued those for a while, but we brought them back and they've been really popular. So we've had some people asking for toe cages. It's kind of wild. I mean, especially, things are cyclical. There's a lot of good stuff. We have a deep repertoire of products. Who knows? Maybe in a couple years we'll bring back something kind of nutty that I don't know.
Would you say you bring on more new products than discontinue products?
100%.
Okay.
Easy answer.
Easy answer.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, especially when you think of like, you think of a hub, right? You're like, okay, we're gonna make a new hub, and that we're coming out with a whole line of new hubs this spring going into summer, and it's like,
Hub
okay,
with complete wheels eventually.
yeah, we'll do we'll do
Okay.
complete wheels as
Okay.
well.
Go ahead.
But like a hub, it's like, okay, well, okay, so now you have rim and disc, silver and
Hmm.
black, 32 hole, 28 hole, front and rear, and then they have their silver and black matching and sets and drilling. So it's like, okay, this one product now turned into about 8 different SKUs.
Hmm.
It adds up real fast.
So you wanted to talk about the neutrino?
Yeah, so you had mentioned things that we didn't necessarily think were going to take off. For a while, we were working on some sort of travel bike, and we had come up with like a few different designs, things that were like using sort of a full suspension design to kind of have a disconnects for pivots and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is getting way out of hand. Like this is way outside the depths of my, I guess, my comfort. We're like, okay, we'll just shelve this idea. And so we actually we have a 77 Volkswagen bus that we had gone out to outside Bellingham, Washington to go pick up. We bought the vehicle, and we stayed with a friend of a friend who had a very extensive bicycle collection and loads of mostly vintage road bikes.
Right.
And in his living room, he had a little mini Velo. It's called the Jack Taylor Small Wheeler, and that was the spark for me.
That was the inspiration.
That was the inspiration.
What tire size are we talking about here?
I want to say it's 18-inch. To be honest, I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it's an 18-inch wheel. It's smaller. It's not like, modern 406.
Right.
Yeah, it's even smaller. And so that was rolling around my head for a while. And we're like, well, we have to do something more special because, there were mini Velos are a thing in Japan, but it's kind of like they're kind of relegated to Japan. You don't really see them. You don't really see them outside of Japan.
Do you still have to put those in bags when you travel on trains and stuff too?
So interestingly enough, it kind of is up. You can take them apart and, like Rinko them.
Yeah.
But from my understanding and my experience is that you can just turn, as long as it's kind of fits in a bag, people don't really give you any issue. And obviously if you're going to go on peak, time on the train, you're getting squished in there like during commuting hours. But I mean, if you're there, during off hours, as long as it's in a bag, you basically put the bag down, you put the bike inside of it, turn the handlebars and cinch it up.
Even if it's not fully closed.
Yeah, people don't really care that much.
But let me ask you, because you said they're popular in Japan. What is the reason for them being popular in Japan? Like, what's the practical application?
I think
is it just because they look cool? Because they do.
I mean, it's kind of both. I think in Japan, because just the spaces are much smaller.
Everything, yeah.
So it's from a practicality and utility standpoint, it's just easier to maneuver them around. Okay. It's easier to, it's a smaller footprint, so you can put them in your apartment. It's just, and that's what makes, even the mini Velo today so convenient. That because of the smaller footprint, that you can shoulder it up apartment stairs. And when you take it inside, you can turn the handle, loosen the stem, turn the handlebars, and it's flat against the wall.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of benefit. And I mean, I've traveled extensively with mine.
Really?
And
okay.
Yeah, no, I've taken it all over the world. And it's definitely like you're taking the bike apart, right? But with the design that we have nowadays, with 2.3-inch tires, with disc brakes and, your own personal fit, you're taking your bike and it's not like, really narrow tires. And it's a riot. It's so much fun. And it's, I've taken full-size bikes on trips. It's kind of a pain in the butt. Part of this in this whole scenario was we wanted to develop a travel bike. And at the time you had to have, I think it was under 62 linear inches. So length plus width plus height for airline requirements, so that you don't have oversize.
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays that sort of size has gone away. So when we developed the bike, the sizes were, you put it in the box that it came with and it would be under 62 linear inches. But nowadays it's pretty much, that's kind of gone to the wayside.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's relaxed. And it's really, the only issue is overweight. I mean, the overweight is usually 50 pounds.
Yes.
But it's, these bikes are well under that. you do need to take the bike apart to get it as small as possible, but it's so much easier to navigate when you get the box from the airplane. You don't have to have like a big truck or an SUV. You can put it in the back of somebody's, taxi at the airport, to get where you're going, and then assemble it later. Or you can just assemble it, at the airport. I've definitely done that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Igor,
But
you surprised me with the clunker bars being triple butted.
yeah,
Is
Yeah,
this
'cause
mini bike triple butted?
It's like a BMX bar, but go on.
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah. So is the mini bike triple butted or
it
made out
does
of
have
some
it,
kind of
the
crazy tubing?
It does have a lot of custom tooling. It does have some custom drawn, tubing as well. It is the main triangle is double butted. I want to say the fork is triple butted as well. It actually, the
Mhm.
fork does pass mountain bike testing,
Oh,
because we
wow.
have a lot of people that are using it for all sorts of applications. We have some people that are riding it like gravel bikes. We have some people that are, they're riding it in the cities and really thrashing this thing. We
Yeah.
have a guy that's been touring in Alaska for months now on his neutrino, like all
Wow.
loaded up. So it's such a versatile platform, and it's so much fun. But that's one of those things I was like, when we released it, I was like, well, we'll see how this goes, like investing tens of thousands of dollars in tooling and prototypes and testing. It just took off. It took off like a rocket ship. It's such a unique product into the space. People have been having so much fun with it. Like I said, people have been building out drop bars. People have been people have most recently
Probably internal hub gearing as
internal
well.
hub is very popular. Most
Yeah.
recently, we have a guy, Mark, that he got a frame, and he cut the bottom bracket out, and he's putting a pinion system into it. So it's like, I mean, it's such a fun platform that it's like, okay, you buy your road bike, right? You're okay. I'm gonna put drop bars on it. I'm gonna put, Ultegra on it. I'm gonna put some fancy wheels on it. But it's like, you kind of have a formula. But with the neutrino, it's like you can literally do whatever you want.
That's cool.
And it's good because there's no pretense to how it should be built. I mean, we offer a complete build because this is what we found is really popular for a lot of people.
Because you can't go
Mhm.
buy wheels off of anybody.
Exactly.
You got to get the wheels from you. What size are they now?
They're 20 inch,
20
they're
inch?
406. But so it's like BMX tires, BMX tubes.
Okay, so the tires are easy to source. It's just the wheels with a disc brake, because the BMXers aren't doing disc brakes, are they? I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and then it's so one of the things that we're making is our own rim as well. So we have a whole new rim profile that we're using for all of our rim sizes. So we're actually doing a 20 inch in the same extrusion profile as we're making a 32 for next summer.
Yeah.
Or for this summer rather.
Yeah.
So
one of the bikes that frames rather,
Mhm.
that caught my attention was the Pass Hunter.
yes.
Now, I don't know if it's just because I like the name, but I like the whole steel and the fork and I just like that. It's a very attractive platform for me.
Mhm.
Tell me how that bike is doing for you.
So specifically, are you talking about the Pass Hunter or the Rando?
The Pass Hunter.
Okay,
Yeah.
because the Pass Hunter has been discontinued.
Oh, because I
Oh,
see it
it's
on
still
your
on the
site.
site. Yeah, it's still there. Buy them now.
Yeah.
It might be out of stock.
Oh.
It's heavily discounted. It looks like.
I don't think we have any more.
Oh, okay. So all right. Well, because when I looked through your frame off,
We might have we might have like we only
You
have
got a
smalls
small.
left. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll tell you the story with that one. Okay. So we wanted to make something that was lighter weight, more speedy compared to the polyvalent, which is our basically touring sort of do it all bike.
Yeah.
And the polyvalent or the Pass Hunter is that. It's a little bit more speedy. It has good tire sizes, 650B. We wanted to make something that, so part of the issue is that at the time when we designed that bike, 650B was all the rage. It was really popular, and it still is in a lot of ways for touring bikes. So the polyvalent is still, and the low kicker are still 650B. But for speedier bikes, trying to find 650B, sort of more on the racy end wheels is very difficult.
Yeah.
650B is pretty much all going to boost, except for
Ah,
some gravel wheels are still there, but everything pretty much is boost nowadays.
yeah.
And then there's not a whole lot of quality tires so much anymore. So we wanted to transition that, and we're like, okay, well, we can make another sort of steel bike. But we want to do something a little bit different. So that led us to doing aluminum, because we're like, well, if we want to make something that's truly lighter, aluminum is the next option.
Like the chassis.
And so the chassis, actually, if you look at the drawing, the original drawings, it was like the drawings are actually 700C pass hunter when we started developing chassis, but that doesn't have exactly the same ring. So we wanted, so chassis is the um not mythical, but real creature that lives in the Chesapeake Bay.
Okay.
Oh,
So that's its shtick.
Right.
But aluminum is really nice because it's really easy to make a lot of custom forms. There's a lot of custom tooling and designs that we can make with aluminum that, number one, has really good ride quality, especially nowadays with a lot of the designs that we can make.
Yeah.
Good tire clearances and make it 700C. Yeah, it's been really popular. Been very happy with it.
Ride quality when you talk about aluminum. These days, when you're putting a 48 tire on it, what's it matter? What material
Exactly.
the
Oh,
frame
yeah.
is made from.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's now that said, chassis does ride exceptionally well even with, I have mine built up with 32s with carbon wheels and fenders. It rides, it's one of the nicest riding road bikes that I've ever owned. It's
Okay.
so smooth. And yeah, I mean, it does come down to, more expensive tire choice that
For
I
sure.
made.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, I've ridden it with more normal tires, and it is just so smooth. It's very responsive. It doesn't beat you up. And that's part of it. It's part of it is that in the testing that we did, we butted certain tubes in certain profiles. We adjusted the sizes of tubes. So it's not overly, it's I don't want to say laterally stiff and
Vertically compliant.
Like it's
20% faster.
yeah,
Does it
exactly.
hold
Like
its speed?
you'll save, 30
But I want to know,
seconds.
does it hold its speed?
So, I mean, at the end of the day, we take a lot of care into the way that we design our frames in both the utility aspect, but also the ride quality, and it
Yeah.
shows. And it's such a good ride, and people have built it up in various ways. Single speed is really popular. What's really popular now is actually doing flat bars on it. And I gotta say, it is really cool. We've built up a couple for some customers, and they're fun.
So you call the chassis, it's categorized under the monster gravel side, and you're putting
Yes.
regular road tires on it.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously,
Well,
it's whatever you want it to be.
yeah. So whenever we design a frame, we want to make sure that there's room for fenders, and so we kind of designed it so that you can run it
Without fenders, you got a
50.
700 by 50 and then a 650 B
Yeah,
by
it says you can run
2.25.
45.
Yeah, tire clearance with fenders, 700 by 45. We make sure that we design it so that fenders fit a generous tire.
Yeah.
And you can always, you can size up to 45s, but I don't really like riding that big of a tire with fenders because it's kind of like when you're riding it that big of a tire, especially if they're knobby, you're kind of saying, okay, I need this much tire.
Mm.
And so if you're going to be riding off road or riding on single track or something like that, not a great idea with fenders. But there is lots of room for 32s with fenders, 35s with fenders is like, it's like the perfect size for road bike with fenders. And then you just take that stuff off, you put some fatter tires on there with knobs, and now you can ride it on almost anything. So,
Yeah.
some people even have two wheel sets. They'll have a 700C that has, 35 millimeter smooth tires for road riding. And then they have a 650B with, 51 millimeter tires that are more knobby for,
Rowdy riding.
Hmm.
exactly. Yeah. So it's both. Even we have a guy, Martin in Norway, who he's a year-round rider. He has a set of very fancy 700C carbon wheels, and then he has a set of 650B with studs
I
for
was
the
about
winter
to say
time.
that's they studded.
So he's yeah, I mean he rides the snot out of his.
Yeah, that's
I'm
cool.
looking at the chassis here,
Yeah.
and I love the straight-legged fork.
Mm-hmm.
I love that design, but it seems like maybe 9 out of 10 forks have the French curve to it.
Yeah. We designed it as well. We had when we were doing this, we put a French bend on another
Hmm.
version. I mean, we're doing the nice thing working with CAD is that we can kind of play around with things without
Hmm.
having to spend gobs of money on it. And it just didn't look right, to be
Hmm.
honest. And the other thing is that with flat mount brakes, 'cause that's what he uses, um,
Yeah, I can see that that might be a
you
problem.
can do a bend,
Hmm.
but it's not pretty. It's not quite
Hmm.
a dog leg bend, and it's not quite a French bend. So it's kind of this middle ground, which just kind of looks weird.
Hmm.
Um, so we went with a straight blade fork. It's triple butted,
Hmm.
externally tapered, um, and it has all the mounts too. So and you can run a carbon fork on it as well if you really wanted to lighten things up. But we have found over the years that when we sell frames without forks, people say, okay, I want, because I'm gonna put the carbon fork on it, right? Because I'm gonna be lightweight. And then they come back to us and say, hey, can I have a steel fork too?
Can
Because
I have this steel
I want to
fork?
go bike packing.
Yeah.
And so we just like you buy the fork, you're gonna use it. Trust me, you're gonna use
Hmm.
the steel
Hmm.
fork. So and it rides, even with a steel fork, it rides really, really nicely.
No, because it has a steel
There
fork.
you go.
Because
Because
it
it has the
bends.
steel fork, it rides really nicely. Yeah, I mean, I've ridden
Because
with the carbon fork too. It's nice.
yeah,
I'm just a steel fork kind of guy.
yeah, no,
Yeah, no.
a lot of us are, and when I sat down with Simon at Ritchie, he just talked about how difficult it is to get steel forks through testing. So tell me about your experience with that.
Yeah, I mean, if you, there's a balance, and it's funny you mentioned that because I was actually before we hopped on the call, I was watching that interview, and I think it may have actually ended when you guys were talking about that. Um, I mean, it's a balance of what you want. At this point, we've done enough frames that we kind of know, okay, this is what's going to work. This is what's not going to work. Here's the compromises. It's going to be heavier, obviously, than a carbon fork.
Yeah.
But it's not, we don't have to worry about it breaking, which is a big deal, obviously.
Yes.
Um, so I mean, with a lot of and nowadays you know, element analysis on the computer, we can run different scenarios with different tubing compositions and profiles
Mhm.
well before we have any sort of samples.
Right.
So that's a pretty big deal. Um, and so it's a balance. I mean, yeah, it's going to be heavier, but you know what? It's going to be very reliable. You can bike pack on it. You can put, you put your racks on it. You can put your cargo cages. You can put fenders, and you never have to worry about eyelets pulling out,
Hmm.
delaminating, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
What
So,
what kind of what kind of weight can you put on these steel forks?
I mean, you can put touring loads on them. Like it's really going to be dependent.
Are
If
we
you're
talking
doing
like
like,
40, 50 pounds when you say touring loads?
I would probably,
I don't want
you
to,
could,
yeah.
but here's the thing is that most people are never going to do that
No.
because it's going to, no matter what bike, unless it's like a cargo bike, it's going to ride like,
Hmm.
it's not going to be a pleasant ride when you put that much weight in
Yeah.
one spot.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I would probably say most people are going to be maybe 15, 20 pounds. And
Yeah.
I'm saying realistically, that's what they're going to put on it. It's tested for far beyond that.
Yeah.
Um, but we always say don't put all your weight in one spot. Same thing. Don't put all your weight in the rear rack. Don't put all your weight in the frame bag.
Yeah.
You know, distribute the weight. It's going to make the bike feel more balanced, going to feel more planted. It's going to feel, generally speaking, better.
What's your favorite? You know what? It took a while to get this one done. The design, there weren't that many compromises, and I really love this frame.
I gotta say, I gotta say it's the neutrino, and here's why. Because it was such for me, and I think our team, that it was such a big risk that it's like, this is a brand new thing that is not, and I don't want to say it's like completely brand new. You know, there's like the hooligan, the bad
Oh, I
boy, or
remember the
something like that.
hooligan. Yeah.
So it's not like a, mind-blowing new design, but I mean, that bike was only around for a little bit.
Yeah.
Well before we introduced this one, and it had its own weirdness. Like it had its own weird fork.
It had its lefty fork.
Yeah, it had a lot of weirdness, but this is I think that we made this much more normal and much more, it was kind of like a shot in the dark, and it's been very popular, and it's one of our most popular frames. So aside from that one, I'd probably say polyvalent.
Yeah.
Polyvalent it's very popular. People have been riding it for years and years at this point. You know, people have repainted them, chromed them. They've been riding them all over the world. We have the low kicker as well, which shares a lot of the DNA of the original polyvalent. Over the years, it's changed, but not that much. We've kind of just updated things as
the through axles and
threadless headset, mostly from people just requesting it. We get enough people requesting something, and we're like, okay, you know what? Maybe it is time for change. I feel like it's the longest running bike we have. And so I think the longevity speaks for itself.
Yeah.
And just the number that are out there, and the number of people that hang on to them. When you go online, you don't see a whole lot of, Velo Orange bikes for sale compared to a lot of other, smaller brands like us. And it's because people keep them.
Yeah.
People use them, and people love them. And that's what I appreciate out of the stuff that we sell.
Yeah. You just hit on something I wanted to talk about earlier. When you say a smaller brand, give us some idea of how many employees, how you got shipping, receiving, you got all these folks, designers, do you outsource some of that, or is that?
Yeah, I mean, we run a pretty tight ship, admittedly. I mean, we have, outside of myself and Adrian, we have 5 people here at the office. We have a shipping department. So we have 5 here, and then we have a designer in Colorado. As far as Velo Orange employees, that's pretty much it.
That's it.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we work with a couple guys in Canada that help us with graphic design and some marketing, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
We try to streamline, we try to keep things really simple as far as our operations go.
Now, in taking a look at your stuff, can you help me understand how you sold this to everyone else, that you wanted to do the CS8 camp?
Oh, the camera?
The camera. Well, the 2 cameras that you do. Tell me what's going on with that, because that's not what I would expect on a bike.
So I mean, I've really liked photography a really long time.
Yeah.
John and I were talking about this earlier. He saw the K1000 that I have on the shelf here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, I was saying that in our last house, I turned one of our half bathrooms into a little, dark room.
Okay. All right.
And I had seen an advertisement for the Camp Snaps. So Camp Snaps is another company. And I thought it was such a cool idea. Number one, I love like toy cameras, like just cheap little things that just have their own sort of personality.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really cool. I thought it's really fun. It's super simple. There's one button.
Yeah.
Right. There's one button to use on the camera.
Yeah.
The pictures are, pretty much what you'd get out of like a, disposable. And so
Mhm.
that kind of brought me back because I remember when Adrian and I got married, we put a bunch of disposable cameras out on the,
I was
you know,
about to
On the
say this.
tables, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, this is a thing. Yeah, you just lay them all out, and
So
people start.
Mhm.
Yeah,
yeah, but I mean that back then that was, you could send it out and you could actually get your prints back. I don't even
get
know
your
you
print.
can do that
Yeah.
nowadays. So I thought this was a pretty fun thing, and my son was much younger at that point, and he had a lot of interest in doing photography too. But I was like, I mean, these cameras are kind of the cameras I have are kind of heavy,
Yeah.
Mhm.
so I could just give him this and he could snap all day long. I started using it on bike rides, and I thought it was just the coolest little thing because it's like, this sort of innocuous picture that I would have to, maybe not interesting enough for, taking my DSLR, but it's kind of sterile for a cell phone camera.
Yeah.
So this kind of just gave it a little bit more fun, a little more pizzazz.
Mhm.
And then they were saying that they started working on a camcorder, and I was like, okay, well, what's this thing about? And so he sent me a sample, and I was playing with it for a long time, and
Yeah. I mean,
it's fun. It's like it's like a Super 8,
yeah. Yeah.
camcorder,
Yeah.
and it definitely reminds me of like, having the projector and
Mhm.
showing everybody what you did for your vacation and stuff like that. But it's all digital, and the cool thing is that it has digital, or it has analog, um,
The little battery
indicators
meters and
for the battery meter and the SD card. I'm like, this is so neat.
yeah, it threw me off. Like, what is this doing here?
Yeah.
Like this eclectic collection of things on your site.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta say it's one of those things that, and that's kind of, I think that's one of the cool things about social media is that there are things that, I'm just like, I would be scrolling through and like, oh, that's really cool. And that kind of leads me to like other ideas or, potentially bring that in.
Yeah.
If it kind of fits the vibe of what we're going for.
Is there some stuff you want to talk about that we haven't covered yet, Igor?
I'd probably say we're working on a new bag line. As far as like new products,
Yeah.
we showed some of this stuff at Made last summer. But yeah, we're working on a new bag line, all made in Baltimore. So it's like 25 minutes up the road from our location. We have a bunch of new,
When you say bags, are we talking like panniers?
a bunch. Let me grab one real quick.
Yes, go ahead.
Wow, seen
This is
first here on
Yes.
Rev Endurance Sports.
So
That's right.
this is a sorry, let me fluff this up a little bit. This is like a walled basket bag.
Mhm, mhm.
Wax, all of them are going to be wax canvas, either waterproof or very water
Are they
resistant.
roll top?
This one is not. This is a zipper, so it has a
Okay.
very nice brass zipper.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it has our little,
Velo
Velo Orange.
made in Baltimore. Yeah, I love it.
and that's the ship is the Pride of Baltimore.
Oh,
Big tall ship that
Okay.
kind of, it doesn't always live downtown, but it's kind of known for being downtown.
Yeah. The locals will know exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
As soon as they see it, they'll know.
Well, interestingly enough, the guy that runs the shop that's doing it's doing these bags for us, he said that, I didn't know this, but apparently Baltimore was number one for making canvas like hundreds of years ago because of the proximity to the water, because they were making sails,
Mhm.
making all sorts of stuff from canvas.
Mm.
And so there was a huge canvas industry in Baltimore. So it kind of harkens back to that as well.
Mm.
Ah, very cool.
Yeah. Okay. So bags are coming. What else you got?
Yep. We have the new hubs, like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hubs.
New rims. We're going to have new frame colors as well. Leather saddles are coming back. Oh, like something that's coming back is leather saddles.
Mhm.
Because of
because
customer
we had-
request.
Yeah, I mean, we had carried a number of leather saddles for a while, and then they kind of fell out of favor for a lot of synthetic. And I think people are looking nowadays for things that are maybe they're a little bit more expensive at first, but they're going to age with you. That's why brass is really popular. We carry a number of brass items. It just looks, and that's why Leicas are really popular because you use them and the patina really develops on them. It's the same thing with the wax canvas. It's going to develop patina. It's one of those items that, it's kind of like an heirloom item.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's, and that's part of the ethos is like we make stuff that stands. We're not like, it's not going to be the lightest, it's not going to be the fastest, but it's going to be beautiful and it's going to last a very, very, very long time. So,
I like that.
yeah, I mean, that's what we're after.
Yeah.
So, these are the type of things that we're making. And the leather saddles are going to be that as well. We're going to have a few different styles. If you're more upright, sort of level saddle and handlebar, and then if you want to be a little bit more aggressive. So that's another one. I mean, we're always working on new frames. So that's something that we're working on right now as well. But don't have those yet.
Yeah. John, you haven't asked too many questions. Do you have some stuff that we didn't cover yet or want to cover? Or
Oh, I've
do you
just
got?
been enjoying the conversation.
That's right.
One of the things I wanted to ask about really quick was on the piolet frame, the
Yeah,
fork
PLA.
on that. That's kind of different. How did that
Yeah.
one come about?
So the chassis fork shares a lot of DNA with that fork as well. So straight blade fork is the same sort of thing. It's with the French bend, it's a lot harder to pass the sort of mountain bike testing that the PLA passes. And the straight blade fork is just in that regard, it's just stronger. And it looks weird with the sort of more straight tube profiles and stuff like that. A straight blade fork just kind of looks better. And you can put the cargo cages on it, stuff like that, without having any sort of weird angles. So that's the big part of it.
All right. Well, let's do some rapid fire round. We got
Please. If we need to, I'm happy to extend it as well. Like I'm not.
Oh, you're awesome. You're awesome. Okay. No, I wanted to make sure.
Like I said, I can ramble. Like
that's fine. That's fine. Well, we could do rapid fire and then dig deep into any one of these topics that you want to do.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Shimano or Campy?
My heart says Campy. My heart says Campy.
Yes.
My brain says Shimano.
Rim or disc brake?
Disc brake.
Disc brake mechanical. Disc
Ooh.
brake hydraulic.
Mechanical.
Tubeless or tubed?
Tubed.
Favorite gas station food?
Ooh, taquitos.
Yeah, right. The hot ones?
Yeah, the hot ones. Yep. the ones on the sketchy rollers. Yep.
Guilty pleasure at home?
Oh, guilty pleasure at home. Eating straight out of the peanut butter jar.
Ooh.
Steel or aluminum?
Steel.
Longest continuous one-day ride?
I think when Adrian and I were doing, we did the Great Allegheny Passage in CNO.
Yep.
And we rode, I think we did like 120 miles in one day, and we were just kind of racing the sun just to see how far we could get, and something like that. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a pretty big day for us.
Longest multi-day tour?
Oh, our wedding tour.
Yeah.
We
Tell me
did
about
we
that.
did about I want to say like 2.5 weeks through Denmark, Germany, and Sweden. Yeah, that's the longest tour we did.
With the wedding dress in the
Yep.
in the package.
Dragging the cans.
Well, we had to. We have pictures like of dragging because we got married on an island. We
Awesome.
have pictures of us, and I can send you the pictures later. But yeah, we have pictures of us dragging cans through aeroscoping,
So
And
awesome.
yeah, but we got off the airplane, and per the country's requirements, you have to be in town for like you have to be in the country for like 48 or 72 hours or something.
Like
So
reconciliation, like
yeah,
not
something
like
like that. I don't
Vegas.
remember. So we literally rode from the airport to got on the ferry to stayed on the island and with all of our stuff, like our wedding clothes. And then after we got married, we packed them up and sent it home. So yeah,
That was pretty much the quick ones that I wanted to ask you. Do you want to dig into any one of those?
I'm happy to. Yeah. Anything that you want to dig into.
Let's dig a little deeper into some of these topics. What are your thoughts on rim versus disc? What are your thoughts on that?
Don't get me wrong. I love rim brakes. You can definitely build a much lighter bike with them, but they do have their limitations. I mean, they're not going to be nearly as good in adverse conditions.
Mhm.
They're not going to have the same tire clearances as you could with disc brakes. And I feel like in my own riding nowadays, I just gravitate more towards disc brakes because I can have bigger tires. I don't have to worry about my compound and my rim, working together in case it's going to be, rainy or like icy or anything like that. And I just like running bigger tires. So it's I feel like in
For road, quantify bigger tires.
I feel like 32s obviously you can definitely fit, but the majority of my riding nowadays is usually on double track. So if I'm not riding on my local trail, with the family or, just kind of putzing around or going around town, I'm usually going to be riding on some sort of off-road pavement or off-road surface. And I feel like for me, 42 is kind of the minimum. And if you want to use a rim brake on 42s, you're going to sacrifice braking performance because the braking arms are going to be longer. And then I also run fenders with, my bike that I ride the most is my polyvalent and it has 48s with fenders. I mean, there's no way you're going to be able to fit good quality rim brakes over that. So disc brakes are it. And especially if I load it up with a bunch of stuff, then you have all that weight as well.
Mhm.
And just, you know, I mean, obviously canties are an option too, but disc brakes are they're just stronger. They're better. Sorry. I know it's going to anger a lot of people out there, but you know what? Once you get a taste, once you have a loaded touring bike and you put it on disc brakes and you go back to canties, your mind's going to be blown. Good quality. Let me say good quality disc brakes.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
From a manufacturing standpoint for the frames, is it easier to do a rim brake frame versus a disc one?
It depends on what kind of bike you're doing.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to be doing a bike that has generous clearances that, like our rando bike, this is actually a prototype. It's all Philip brazed.
Mm-hmm.
It is actually surprisingly complex because you have a lot of different parts that you have to make sure work together, especially with the rando. It uses a dropout system that you can
Heat
have it both
change.
vertical,
Yeah.
vertical
Yeah.
dropouts or rear facing track dropouts. So you have to make sure that the actual reach of the brake or the actual brake arm matches where the hub sits in relation to it. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of actual balancing acts for that to work. And if you want to use bigger tires in there as well, if you want to run 32s, 35s, 38s, there's a lot in that little area. There's a lot going on right there. And so you want to also make it so that you don't want too much in there, but you also don't want too little.
Hmm.
So rim brakes are actually surprisingly complex in that regard.
Well, because
Disc brakes are nice because you're isolating the tire width as a factor.
well,
So you can
tire size 650B,
exactly.
700. You know.
Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely right. So you're isolating that as well. I mean, you look at the drawings, you can have 700C on top of 650B and see what the clearances are like. Um, and then then adding the fenders is another dimension that is not as big of a deal. I mean, you just have to make sure the tubes clear all that stuff, but it's not the same. It's a lot easier. I'll put it
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
And if we
and I,
could
oh, go ahead,
go
John,
ahead.
please.
Oh, I was just gonna say the going back to those dropouts where you can either have the rear facing or the regular
The
style
vertical
dropout.
dropouts, yeah.
Yeah, was that part of the original design? Like when you said, I'm gonna make a bike, I want it to be able to switch between the two styles.
Yeah, I mean it's a bike that we designed so that it's lighter. This is as far as our needs, this is pretty much the lightest steel frame and fork you can make
Hmm.
before things start breaking that start not passing testing.
Hmm.
And yeah, that was something I wanted to do because I think that there's a lot of people that want to run it as a single speed because it's so lightweight. It's very simple, with the wishbone, there's not a lot going on.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was a design consideration that we wanted to make sure would work. And people do like it. People run it with flat bars and single speed.
Now, I want to make sure I know we're talking about the rando bike.
Correct. Yeah.
So what are you going to be using to get a 38 tire in there?
It squeaks in there.
With
We
what?
have we have one here that uses that has a Pan Racer 38 millimeter tire with a Sturmey Archer 2-speed kickback. It is a hoot. That thing is so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't fit with fenders, um,
But
but
but what brake calipers are you using for that?
our long reach brake calipers.
The Grand Cru?
Yep.
Hmm.
Ah, okay.
And I gotta
Yep.
say, the gold paint on that frame is just awesome. It
Yeah.
just looks killer.
The funny thing is that when we were designing that bike, we were talking about paint, and I had listened to a podcast. They were talking about color theory, and said there was a study that they sent out, and they found there was a certain Pantone it was a certain Pantone color that everybody universally thought was the ugliest color, and they use it for their like cigarette cartons in Australia, and obviously to make it
Hmm.
unpalatable for people to see.
Unappealing to
Unappealing.
buy.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. Exactly. Unappealing. And we were looking through different paint books, and I was kind of flipping through it, went into the back, and I was like, that color looks kind of familiar. And I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And then you see it, it's like on a little, like a little
Little
postage stamp,
swatch. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
and I took it out into the sun, and I was like, whoa, this is cool. It is like a bass boat. Like it's got gold, it's got green, it's got blues.
Hmm.
It is a beautiful color. And yeah. So, but if you want to get one, this is it. So, because
Oh,
we're doing all new colors for all of for rando, polyvalent, low kicker, and chassis next spring and summer.
and
So
I want to dig down a little bit into this detail. I'm sorry, but this is what this podcast is about.
absolutely, yeah.
When you say long reach, did you I mean, where do you have that brake bridge? Does this frame only work with long reach brakes, or
Yeah, that's part of the other limitation with disc brakes. Like I said,
you
I
mean
love
rim?
disc brakes with rim brakes. Sorry, that's part of the limitation with rim brakes is that you kind of have to select a reach. So like where the pivot is to where it's actually going to brake, you have like short reach, which is most
Hmm.
road racing bikes.
Performance bikes, yeah.
Yeah, and then you have like longer reach, which is kind of where ours sit, and then you have extra long reach for for much bigger tires. But the short reach, obviously, you can't fit very big tires in there, like 28s, 25s are pretty much it. And then, medium long reach, you can fit much better tire sizes in there. But then you go past that, and then the actual performance of the braking kind of starts to suffer. And when you're running that big of a tire, it's counterintuitive that you run a bigger tire. You kind of want better brakes too,
Yeah.
if you need it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we kind of base it around our brake that we offer.
Okay.
Because that's a constraint that we have a lot of control over.
Mhm.
So,
And I agree with a lot of the things you say, but I live in sunny Southern California.
yeah, it's a different story. We live in Maryland,
Yeah.
where we have like seasons and rain sometimes.
Yeah. And I mean, I looked up our rainfall because we had like a week of rain just recently, and it was like depressing, right? But I looked at it, and it was like we had like 0.3 inches of rain in the last 9 months.
Yeah.
And so when you start talking to me about disc brakes having better braking, I'm like, or inclement weather, I'm like, I don't need that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
It's funny because it happens every fall going into winter. It's like, okay, it's fender season. And like,
yeah,
I've had them on all year.
fenders, I don't know what that is. And I've ridden in some torrential downpours,
Yeah.
because I'm a double century rider. And what ends up happening is, if you do a 50, 30 mile club ride, that rain shower, okay, boom, it's done. But when you're doing a 200 miler, you can keep riding into more rain,
Oh,
as
yeah.
you keep going,
Yep.
because we're riding in multiple counties and whatever, right? And so, but I'm not going to put fenders on my bike.
Yep.
Look, I know that this is a thing, especially if you live in Europe and England. They're talking about winter bikes, and I'm like, what are you guys talking about? I still ride my best bike today,
Yeah.
in January. So it's horses for courses and also regions of the world, right?
Absolutely.
So I completely understand. I've had disc brakes on my tandems, so I know what they're like. I know what that's like,
Yeah.
going 70 miles per hour and stopping your bike.
Mhm.
I've got disc brakes on a road bike, and I've got disc brakes on an Outback, on a Ritchie Outback, which is, your 48 millimeter tire bike.
Yeah.
So I know all the benefits of that. I just like rim brake.
Absolutely.
And because I work in a shop, the stuff I see, So anyway, so that's just my perspective on things. And so people want what they want, and I'll sell them whatever they want,
There you go.
What do you want to talk about?
Yeah.
This is your time.
This is my time. Oh man. That's so much.
This is what we do, man.
Well, I talked about my favorite tour.
Yep. Yep.
I would say where we are is a very unique area, because I've as I've gotten older and have more responsibilities and have a family and stuff, I guess I'm much more just careful about how I ride. And road riding is pretty much, it's off the table for me nowadays.
Interesting.
Pure
Okay.
road riding.
Yeah.
I think it is for a lot of people. But where we are is in an interesting place, because in DC, which is about 35, 40 minutes from where I am right now, there's the
talk to me in bike miles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, no, it's if you ride, okay, so it's probably, because there can be traffic. It's probably like 25, 30 miles.
Okay. All right. That gives me some perspective. Because
Yeah, exactly.
my typical morning ride is 40 about 40 miles.
Nice.
That's a typical morning ride for me.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, you're riding. Yeah, that's a very decent distance for a morning ride. But
Well,
yeah, I mean, you're so basically you go into DC, and that's the start of the C&O, which is 180 miles straight west onto all the way to Western Maryland.
with
And
not a car in sight is what
not
you're
a
going to tell
car.
me.
It's
Yep.
all double track. There's
Wow.
trail towns. It's beautiful. There you can't get lost. There's very little elevation. It is a gem that we have. We have people that come from all over the world just to ride this trail. And
Yeah.
then you go from Cumberland to another, I think it's 100, it's either 130 or 180 miles to Pittsburgh,
Right.
all by trail. And you can ride the metro to Pittsburgh. That's what we did in the past, is ride the, it was actually funny because I don't know, you guys know Dirt Rag magazine?
No.
Yeah. So it was a magazine that, they were based out of Pittsburgh, and they did a lot of like off-road mountain bikes, kind of stuff like that. And, they had a bike. We had sent them a bike for a review, and, we're like, okay, well, they're like, the review's done. How do you want to get it back? And we're like, do you want another bike? And they're like, yeah, we'll take another bike. And so we got on the metro, took another bike up to Pittsburgh, dropped it off, switched bikes, and then rode the other one back all the way to DC,
Oh,
all
awesome.
off road.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an amazing, it's such a cool system. And then with a lot of the rails to trails things that are happening now, for where we are, I could literally get on the trail by my house, and eventually, I don't know how long it's going to take, 20, 30 years, whatever, I'll be able to ride all the way
Your kids
to,
will be able to do it.
yeah, they'll definitely be able to do it. They'll be able to ride all the way to Seattle, all off road. And then north to south is the East Coast Greenway. We're on the trail by my house is part of the East Coast Greenway. And we can go to Maine, and we can go to Florida. So, I mean, I've always been a huge advocate for these connective
hmm
pieces, because we have, especially where we are, we have so many little paths, little old railroad lines that, need to be connected. And, people that, are in Europe, or, watching this, and they're like, what? Why haven't they done this? It's like,
Yeah.
it just hasn't happened, because when we were in, every time we go to Denmark, we go to Germany, you can ride anywhere and there's going to be a bike trail,
hmm
and you can be out in the middle of nowhere, and there's a 2-lane road. There's a bike trail, separated bike trail next to it. And that just doesn't exist here. And so when we have these opportunities for, genuine good infrastructure to develop, people use it.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, I'm on a tangent. I'm rambling at this point, but I mean,
No, you're fine, because look, I mean, if there was a way for me to get from A to B without being on the road, I might do
Yeah.
that as well. In fact, there are little short segments of that, of a little, I mean, but it's like 3 miles.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's such
yeah.
a patchwork here.
It is.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It's so
And
disconnected.
exactly what Igor is saying. These things are not connected. Like we have a bike trail, that is 8.9 miles. And that's huge here. Like, wow, like no cars for 8.9 miles.
Mhm.
And then there's another one. So that's the one in Oceanside area. Then there's another one that runs along the 56 freeway that, runs east-west. But that's about it, 6, 7 miles at a shot. And that's it. The rest of the time you're on the
Yeah.
road.
So we
And
have one of our longtime company friends. He lives in DC, big longtime randoner. He would come up to our office, and there's a trail that, for the longest time, there was a trail that ended, and then on the other side of the river, the trail would continue. It took years for for, I guess it's the county or whoever owns that land it only opened last year, and it's been probably over 10 years for them to build this bridge. He would literally get to the end, take his shoes off, and then ford the river with his bike on his shoulder, and then ride up
Wow.
right up to our office. And I mean, most people aren't going to do that.
Right.
Good on
No.
Mike for doing that, but like he's like most people are not Mike.
Yeah. I did race across America back in '07. If there was a way to get east west or I guess west east without being on the road and without needing a crew vehicle and without needing all that stuff,
Yeah.
that would be fantastic. Sure, I'd love to do that. Or, even just riding the West Coast, from the Canadian border to the Mexican border would be freaking awesome. But
Yeah.
none of it's connected, like you said, and you got to
So
be,
you race across America?
yeah, in '07. Yeah.
So you ended in Annapolis, right?
Actually, it was 2007, so we ended in Atlantic City that year.
Okay. Because I've seen a couple of the Race Across America people um end in Annapolis.
Yeah, it's been
So
there for a few years. I don't know
yeah.
how long, but
Hmm.
in 2007, it ended in Atlantic City Broadwalk.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh yeah. So I noticed on the website, your cranks, they look awesome. They look beautiful.
Thank you.
Especially the Drillium ones with the drilled out
Yeah, that's
holes
a
for
favorite
it.
of mine. Yep.
I noticed that they're all square taper.
Yes.
Um, is that just easier to manufacture versus doing the like a Shimano or a Campy style where the axle actually goes into the bottom bracket?
It's a design aesthetic. It's
Yeah.
a choice. You know, uh, from our experience, the outboard bearings they just don't last as long,
Hmm.
and you just have a lot more potential issues. With a square taper, it's a well-established standard. You can find bottom brackets, you can find them cheap, you can find them expensive, you
Hmm.
can find them in the middle of the road and they're all going to last a really, really long time. The other thing is that you can
There's
much more easily say
and
again.
this and they're serviceable as well.
Yeah, yeah, they're
Hmm.
serviceable. And you can also adjust chain line. So if you have a bike that's
Hmm.
like, okay, I need it, 2 millimeters over. It's kind of going to be harder to do that with an outboard bearing than it is with a three piece.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
so it's also yeah, I mean that's really what it comes down to. Um, it's a well-established standard.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
Speaking of standards, when did Quill go to threadless? I remember the Ahead headsets and stuff. I
yeah,
mean, and then what's your position on them?
I think I love threadless headsets. They're super easy. They're super easy to service. Honestly, part of the cool thing about Quill is like, oh yeah, you can move it up and down and stuff like that. But
But your stem,
honestly, when was the last time you you moved your Quill
Hmm.
up and down because of comfort? It's like it's it's a it's a one thing I noticed was and the thing that kind of pushed me over was the not this generation of polyvalent, but the previous generation of polyvalent had disc brakes and a quill stem. It was a fantastic riding machine. But when you start putting load on the front and it starts to wander, that front end gets pretty flexy. And I was like, I kind of, in my opinion, I found the limit to a quill stem and a front load. And I think there was that sort of transition period for me where I was like, okay, you know what? For a touring bike, for an off-road bike, they're a off-road capable bike, threadless is kind of the go-to. It's just more secure, it's just more planted, it's more steady, it's more I think it's just more I think it's just more better for that sort of application.
More better.
Yeah, exactly.
Mo better. Yeah, your crank sets. I'm sorry to go back to that, but yeah, they're very beautiful stuff. I did want to ask you about that Tomasini you've been working on. How's that going?
Yeah,
The pink
it's
one?
good. You
Is
know, I
that the
just need
pink
to
one?
find time to kind of work on it. It was kind of an impulse buy. You know, the gentleman that I bought it from, he was like, because we was at the Baltimore Bike Festival, and you know, we had set up our bus with the booth, and across the street, or across the I say across the street,
Across the aisle, whatever.
across the aisle
Yeah.
was a guy that was, you know, doing swap meet stuff. It's beautiful Tomasini. It's my size. You know, it's pink. It's cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't really need another bike. You know, I don't.
Oh, yes,
I
you
don't need
do.
this
Yes,
right
you
now.
do.
Yeah, in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah,
You have a
that
warehouse.
that
Come
thing
on.
rules. And at the end, he's like, you know, I gotta get out of here. You know, how much? You know, I was asking a certain amount of money for it, and he was like, how much would you buy everything for? And I was like, how about this? And he's like, sold. And I'm like, oh no. I guess I just bought a bike.
He called your
And it was
bluff.
dark. You know, I didn't really get a good look at it. So I was like, okay, this is gonna be a can of worms. So yeah, I'm still working on it. It's the last video. It's pretty much it's progress. You know, especially with the holiday season. You know, it just hasn't made a whole lot of progress. I mean,
Yeah.
projects take time. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I got things to do.
Yeah. No, I've got a Tomasini just like that one, actually.
Oh, really?
Steel fork and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in much better condition.
Mine is just more patinaed.
Yes. Yes. No, it is.
Has character.
Yeah,
It does
exactly.
have character. Igor, I really, really appreciate you taking the time with us. It is really late for you. I'm sure you need to get home. John, thank you so much for your time as well.
It's a pleasure always.
Yeah, geeking out. So for everyone else, thank you so much for watching. If you're still watching, because we did do a little rambling, didn't we, Igor?
That's right. Yeah, it was fun though. I had a great time.
I did as well. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you up the road.